Good morning. Happy June 1st. Happy summer. Happy Wednesday. And thank you for coming to Blast and a Half. I am literally like so excited and overwhelmed with excitement about you guys meeting my next guest. So I met Michael at a mastermind a little over a month ago in Florida. And at first I was like, what is this guy doing here? Like, what is he doing here? He just seemed like he was taking it all in. But quickly, I learned that this is one of the living legends of our time. And I'm not even exaggerating. The reason why I say that is because at 22 years old, he has already invested heavily in this thing between the ears. We call it our mind and our mindset. But it didn't start off like that because Michael was a really shy guy and also struggled in some respects with his level of confidence. It wasn't until he stepped on stage, which of course, he's quaking in his boots, that he realized, oh my, like I can do this, and kind of kickstarted a lot of his curiosity, which has continued to this day. So today we're going to talk about mindset, how to get to the place where you're ready to change it, and then what to do to continue and develop it. So, woo!
Woo!
Michael! So freaking happy to have you here. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, he's got two companies and a podcast called The Wealth Mindset Show. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for waking up so early. I don't even see coffee in your hand.
Nope.
Michael is on the West Coast, so it's early. The light isn't even up yet. So appreciate you being here in a big, fat, huge way. And so, I got to ask you, you know, who are you as a mindset person that we should listen to? I mean, after all, you're at the ripe old age of 22 years old, right? And
Yep.
what do you know about mindset? What do you know with such little life experience, but so much wisdom?
Yeah. I think and first of all, thank you so much for that incredible introduction. And y'all already know how awesome Lauren is. And so no, I really appreciate that. And yeah, to your question, I think that one of the things that accelerated my, the path to a better mindset was that I intentionally chose to do really challenging activities for myself growing up. So as you mentioned, I started off as a pretty shy kid. I couldn't even really raise my hand in class. I was too shy to do that, and I didn't, poor self confidence. I was kind of just this little redheaded, freckled kid, and I was still building that confidence. And you're right. Pretty much when I learned to do something uncomfortable, which one of the first really uncomfortable things for me was stepping on stage, doing a performance, having other people, having to memorize lines, and then having the freak out of like, oh my gosh, what happens if I lose my lines? Like that was really challenging to go from shy kid, couldn't raise his hand, to on stage. And it kind of gave me a little sense of boost. I was like, whoa, that was hard, but that was really cool. And I could feel a shift in myself. And I was like, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to do more of this. And so I kept doing, theater throughout high school, and like led a meditation club. And that kind of started this mindset kind of journey. But then the next big challenge for me was sales and cold calls and doing demos in people's homes. And that freaked me out completely. I was like, there's no way I can do this. But I just did it because I knew that every time I did something challenging, it would cause me to grow on the other side. And so I think one of the reasons why I've been able to like compact maybe some years is because I've intentionally sought out those challenging opportunities.
Yeah, your mindset on steroids. So while you're telling this story, I'm thinking to myself, not everyone gets a rush from putting themselves in these precarious or scary moments. And so what is your thoughts around that? Because arguably people could be listening to this thinking, yeah, good for you, Michael. Great. I'm glad you
Yeah.
got up on stage. Nicely done. And not me. I'm out. So what would you say and or suggest to somebody who may be thinking along those lines and also is struggling with framing their mindset or reframing their mindset?
I'd say one of the most powerful things that you can do is just get around somebody who does have that mindset, because you will begin to pull and basically borrow their thought processes. So if you're in a place where you're struggling with this kind of thing, obviously information is nice. It's nice to just read something, but it really takes sometimes a relationship kind of connection to see how someone thinks and processes information. And just by being around that person, you're going to become more like them. And so I was blessed to have some really cool models growing up, and those people, by spending more time around them, that's kind of how I think it started in terms of a shift. Is you need to at least first see what's possible in somebody that you know. It can't be somebody far away or even somebody over a book. You need to find these people, seek out these people who have a change kind of perspective that you admire, and spend time around them, because you'll start to pull from that. I think that's probably the easiest way to begin to see that change.
So I love this because it harkens back to kind of a philosophy that I've learned later in life, which is if you want what they have, you'll do what they do. And seeking out that aspirational and inspirational person, then you get to play a little bit of Simon Says, right? Don't need to reinvent the wheel. Oh, you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning? Oh, maybe I should try that. And so
Yeah.
I'm curious, because you mentioned that you had some really important and influential people. Who were they and why?
Yeah. So one of the first most influential people for me was actually my kickboxing trainer when I was in high school. He kind of showed me how to do things the right way. He showed me how to, give good gifts and just simple things, give good gifts, be kind to people, like do something special for my mom on her birthday, which is today, by the way. Hi, Mom, if you're listening, I'm gonna call her. And so he just taught me these simple things that I really admired, and he had this wisdom to him that I really admired. And it
Which
was
had
when I was
nothing to
only
do with kickboxing.
what?
Which had nothing to do with
No,
kickboxing.
no, nothing to do with kickboxing. But he already had this different perspective, and I was blessed to have had that experience, because it rubbed off on me. And so he was one of my biggest models. And I'd say probably my second biggest model from that point after I got out of high school was probably my sales manager when I was doing that sales job, because I was freaking out. I had no clue what I was doing, and this guy was like, "Chill. Here's the mindset. Here's the way to think about it. Here's the resources that you should check out." And he pointed me towards Tony Robbins. He pointed me towards a lot of these other kind of Western personal development perspectives. After in high school, I kind of looked at the Eastern Buddhist philosophy kind of perspective in that. And so yeah, those two people probably impacted me the most at different stages of my life.
I love it. So in the comments, I'm going to post some of the comments in a few, but please, if you have questions on mindset, struggling, or have anything that you want to have us troubleshoot, please put it in the chat. That would be really helpful. So I'm going to poke the bear a little bit and say, this mindset thing, right? Like, this is just a bunch of people who are all into mindset, and it's really overrated. It's just takes up so much time and energy. Like, does this thing even work? Give us the skinny, right? Break it down for us. Why is mindset the catalyst for essentially everything else in your world?
So you only have one lens, essentially, right now. You're stuck with this lens of how you're looking at the world. And when that lens shifts, when that changes, it doesn't just affect your work or your personal life. It affects everything, like you said. And in my personal opinion, yeah, mindset, people that are into it, maybe it's kind of like a cult or something, but most people, in my opinion, are asleep for the most part. They're going through the motions of the day to day and kind of what our society or culture expects of them, not setting their own expectations for what they really want and going after them. And those are two crazy different things. But when it comes to what mindset can do and the power of it, I mean, it's cheesy to say that it's unlimited, but if it literally is the foundation of everything that comes from it. Because if you just for example, if you think something is possible or not possible for you, it's not going to happen if you don't think it's possible. Just period. It just won't happen for you. But if you're around, like I was saying, people that think bigger, and people, some people will ask you, hey, what would happen if you add a couple zeros onto the end of what you wanted to earn this year? Or what would happen if this, and start asking really high quality questions that have to make you, it forces you to think bigger than what you were thinking before. And it's only when we tap into a way of thinking bigger or thinking different that new things become possible. If you never change your mindset, let's just take that as an example, then you won't experience any big change. You will live exactly the same way that you are right now forever, because mindset is simply a habitual pattern of how you act and perceive the world. And so,
wow. Yes, a
yeah.
habitual pattern of how you see the world.
So that pattern can be changed. And that's what we work on, basically, because you have a pattern, whether it was handed down to you from your parents or the people that you were around when you grew up. You have been instilled with a habitual pattern of how to think and perceive the world, and it's not good for everybody. So like there's bad stuff in there, there's good stuff in there, like it's different for everybody, but that's what we work on when we work on our mindset, and it's a fundamental shift.
Absolutely. So thank you everyone for tuning in. We got somebody here from Guatemala. I love it. Kelly. We've got Andrea and Barbara and my favorite person on earth, Claudia, my person. Queens. Hello, Craig, King of Value. And of course, the Queen of Straight Talk, Lisa Rangel. Love it. So I would love for you to put this into practical terms. Tell us what you do from the beginning of your day until the end of the day that is related to mindset. So this is, okay, here you have set up this understanding that mindset is a habitual practice, right? So what happens in your habitual practice? What is going on there?
Yeah. So one of the biggest things for me is routine. It is part of the core of every single day, a morning routine, an evening routine. And the purpose of that is all mindset, really. The purpose of that routine, even working out every day, the purpose of that is to be in the right space in terms of my mindset. So, I mean, there are a plethora of different activities you can add to a routine, and is absolutely different for everybody. But the ones that that I enjoy, what my day looks like, is absolutely a meditation every morning that includes gratitude and visualization, exercising every day, reading and learning every day as well. And then in the nightly routine, it's all about setting yourself up for the next day. I do all my planning for the next day. And the reason why that helps in terms of your mindset is because you have everything already ordered in your head, and without you needing to consciously think about it, stuff is being organized in your head. Like, you don't have to focus on it, but when you have stuff planned out in advance for the next day, things get organized. And then the next day you wake up with answers maybe to questions you had the previous day because it was just processed by your brain overnight. It's really cool. But I hope that gives kind of some habits.
So
there's so many though. There's so many.
I know. And we share a couple, our morning declaration. I know that we're both like tuned into that. Obviously meditation, a big one, exercise, a big one. I have been, oh my goodness, this is like embarrassing, but I have to show it. So this is my my daily water consumption. That too, that's a habit. And I need that because I need to stay hydrated. We do have a question here, which I'm super excited. Thank you, Kim. Do you find that this is a daily challenge to keep the mindset focused? How do you tune out the noise that might distract you?
So when I do the routine, for example, phone off. Like when you wake up in the morning, like one of the biggest things that'll distract you, right, is phone or any sort of connection. Obviously, a quiet space is ideal, but once you've dealt with the phone, the technology, and the quiet space, that's the biggest probably challenge, to just get in a space where you can then do all your habits in peace. So I don't look at any email, I don't look at any text, I don't look at my phone in the morning. It's me time. It's check in with me time, like right in the morning before I check in with anything else. And so for me, the dealing with the distractions is also just part of the routine. It's just like, don't look at your phone in the morning. Don't like focus on yourself first, and then you can be your best self, and then you can go out in the day and serve other people as well. So that's kind of the way I look at it.
Awesome. So I want to ask you this because, again, I'm all about taking what we're hearing here and giving away ways in which you can incorporate them. So no matter who you are, right? You're just starting out. Maybe you're like you, about to graduate from college. Maybe you're a super senior leader in your organization or somebody in the workforce. What are the three things that are the most efficient and effective for driving that mindset impact? What would be like the non-negotiables? People are going to get off of this live and they're going to be like, oh boy, I don't even know where to start. So where do they start? I know that you just gave one away about the phone, but what other key things are critical to jumpstart that?
So the broader idea of the phone thing, and the first one that we were already kind of talking about, is establishing some form of routine, or what I like to call it is an operating system for yourself. And um and so, just like a computer has an operating system, you need an operating system for how you live and run your life. You need an operating system for it. You need a system. And so the routine is just part of that system. But if you're just starting from the very beginning, just focus on one thing that's in your routine. Pick something that resonates with you. If it's a meditation, or if it's just reading every day, or if it's just one of those things, choose one of those and do it in the morning. Again, laundry list of different options, but start with one to add and build a routine. And then the
Okay.
second thing I would
Wait.
say,
I just want
yeah,
to make a note. Create your own operating system. I freaking love this so much because, of course, I always refer to you as the next Bill Gates. But that aside, I just love that this is a really visually powerful way of thinking of how you are constructing your life. Everything has an operating system. A kitchen has an operating system. Even taking out the trash is an operating system. Separate the recycling, separate this, do this, run it down, put it in the right bin. So I love, love, love that you are applying this to mindset. Second one, sorry for the interruption.
no, perfect. So yeah, the second one is get around people that are going to be pushing you to grow, that are going to be pushing you to do challenging things. So if you don't already have, this is something we talked about a little bit at the mastermind before, but if you don't already have a group of people that you would consider to be, 3 to 7 people that are on your advisory board, or your people that are going to push you to grow, your people that you're going to be able to go to and learn from. When I talk about getting around people that have kind of a bigger way of thinking, that have a shifted perspective, you want to figure out who those people are and make intentional time to spend with those people and be around those people, whether that be setting up a recurring meeting every week or bi-monthly to be around those people. Just be intentional about the people that you have in your corner to help lead your life in the direction that you want it to go. And so again, simple step for after this is just find one. Just be like, this is one person I want to be on my advisory board of my life, and just ask them, hey, would you be willing to meet with me every week if you don't already meet for 30 minutes and check in, right? And just have the experience of being around that person and growing together. So that would be the second one. And then the third one would be to give yourself a full day, okay, in the next month, a full day of reflection. Now, why reflection? Because if we are building a bridge in any direction around an island, but we want to get to another island, we may just be building in the opposite direction. And you got to make sure that you're building your bridge in the right direction. And so what you want to do is book a full day for yourself to reflect on what you really, really want in all areas of your life. It's not about, because it's really, at the end of the day, it's more about who you become and who you're going and what you're going to achieve. And so think about the whole day you spend thinking about, what do I want in my relationships? What do I want in my finances? What do I want in my career, my work, right? Think about all that and actually spend a deep moment to take a full day and reflect on it, because that's going to determine the direction in which you're building your bridge. And that makes all the difference in where you end up.
Are you writing this down? Are you journaling? Are you capturing it somehow, some way?
Oh yeah. Oh, when you mean during that day of reflection? Yeah, you should be basically, it's super simple, right? You have the wheel of life, Google a wheel of life. So you got all the areas, and then under each one, just have a full page, and you just journal. You just write, what do I want? What do I want? What do I want? I want this in my life. What does this look like for each area?
And it could sound hard, right?
It is hard.
A whole day to myself. Oh my goodness. I'm not that selfish. Like, who wants to spend a whole day with myself just thinking about how my life is going to be? And what would you say to that? Because I used to think that too. I was like, oh, I don't want to like spend all that time. It wasn't just that I didn't want to spend the time thinking about myself. I also thought, oh boy, people are going to think like I'm so self-absorbed.
So I would actually say this. I would say it is more selfish of you to not think about becoming who you want to become than it is to just blow it off. Because I would ask people, right, how much do you care about the people that are around you, that depend on you and look up to you? Because if you really, really care about those people, then you're going to do your absolute best to become the best version of yourself so that you can serve those people. It's not about you at the end of the day. It's about the purpose that you're serving. And so the better you and the better operating system you can put together, the more clarity that you have, the better you're able to serve.
All right. So that was the perfect lead in. Michael Boly, what is your purpose?
My purpose right now is to this is my line. This is like my motto. Purpose right now is to expand my capacity to enjoy life and to help others do the same. The route through which I'm doing that right now is through mental and financial freedom. And part of it is the Wealth Mindset Show, where we, of course, combine, mental freedom, financial freedom. We talked about personal development, financial freedom together for Gen Z, and help kind of jumpstart this revolution of new age thinkers.
That's amazing. And so since you just constructed this bridge, right? You're on like this island today, and you're going to go to another island sometime soon. What is going to happen, let's just say 3 years from now, as a result of your mindset practice? And what are the tools, aside from some of these things, that you need to continue practicing and others do too, to develop that next island destination?
So I haven't actually read Multiplier, but I've heard that it's a really good book. You have it right there?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, there we go. So now, but what I hear, you can tell me if I'm wrong. The gist of it is, when I think about 3 years from now, what do I expect will result from this? Is I probably can't imagine it right now, because things are going to compound so hard as long as I'm just focused on my next steps, that, hopefully it just puts me to the moon. I don't know where it's going to put me, but I can basically focus on what I'm planning in terms of what I really want and who I want to become. And as long as I'm always making little steps towards who I want to become, that version of myself that I want to be every day, then I know I'm building my bridge in the right direction, right?
Okay, I think the pivotal word to what you just shared was compound, right? Compound. We think about it as, compounding interest, right? We understand that. But what you're referring to in this context is the compounding effects of what that mindset work does. It's a workout for your thinking. It's a workout, of course, for your perception. It's your workout for your capabilities and possibilities. So I really, really love that you talked about it, because it's not a one and done, right? It's not like, oh, I'm going to dabble in it here, dabble in it there. It's a routine, it's a practice, and it does compound. So you and I also share a geekdom around books and reading and listening and learning. And so I have to ask you, because, you're one of my go-tos. What are your top 2, 3 recommended readings anybody who is going to get off of this live needs to get? A lot of people reached out to me prior to the show and said, ooh, would it be okay for my 14-year-old to come to this? And I was like, yeah, bring them. Or other people. I know Andrea works specifically with college students. So what are some of those great books that you might start with, and also, of course, reread over the period of time, and some other ones as well?
So when it comes to mindset personal development, I believe that the foundation of it is a certain level of self-awareness and mindfulness. And that's why I started in kind of Buddhist philosophy and meditation, because it kind of gives you the ability to separate yourself from what's going on and look at things more objectively. And so what I would begin with is just a simple book by Thich Nhat Hanh called Pieces Every Step. Pieces Every Step. And because that combined with some, maybe a little bit of meditation, gives you just a foundational self-awareness of you within the body of the world. And I think after that, when you're kind of primed with a foundation of self-awareness, then I think the other personal development books that we see nowadays are much more effective with that foundation. So Unlimited Power would be the second one. Tony Robbins' very, very first book basically teaches you how it breaks apart the different elements of a great life or a great way to perceive life, and then it gives you control over them and hands them over to you and says, all right, now it's up to you, apply this. And so Unlimited Power would be the second one.
I've never read either one of these.
Yeah, and then the third one, so I bet some people have probably read, it's just the old school one called The Four Agreements. Super short.
Okay,
super short. Yeah, and that's just, it just makes things so simple in terms of like just simple philosophies, simple strategies to follow, simple ways to perceive that make probably, some of the biggest foundational difference. If you can just focus on those to start, then you have a very, very good start. So
all great graduation gifts, by the way.
Yeah.
They're simple, easy, lifetime value, that whole thing. Wow. Okay. So this is pretty awesome. Michael, my last kind of question to you is, like, who can find you and where, right? How do people, because now that they've gotten a taste of who you are, they're going to want more. I can promise you that. So give us the skinny on where they can find you, reach out to you, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So my podcast, The Wealth Mindset Show, is available on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, everywhere. So you just look it up. And then I'm most active on Instagram, and I'm beginning to become more active on LinkedIn because I see the community of how of these people and you, and just, it's incredible here. So that's what I'm working on. And then I have I got a TikTok, I got a Facebook. No, I'm less active there. But you can find me pretty much on all social medias. And, if you want to get in touch with me, shoot me a message on LinkedIn, connect with me. I'd love to connect with all of you. And let's get a conversation rolling. So I really, really do want to say how much I appreciate you having me on the show today in front of, your amazing, amazing audience and all you people. So yeah, this has been such a blessing to be here with you.
Claudia says, I want more. I want more. This is awesome. Yeah. So my original self-help path started with the Tony Robbins tape set in 1991. Excellent suggestion. Awesome. So listen, to say I admire, adore, and love you is really an understatement. As you can see, this is like we're all in line, and of course, we'll always be in your corner and excited, so excited to be part of your journey and to share mindset juju with you on a pretty regular basis. So, thank you for everything. Thank you for also supervising my planks on the mastermind, making sure that there's no sagging, keeping me challenged. So I think that was really important. The challenge doesn't necessarily have to come from the older to the younger. This guy is challenging me on a very regular basis. So to expand your mindset, also expand your audience and learn from whoever and whenever you can, but be choosy, right? Be very selective. Thank you so much. Hang around for a couple minutes afterwards. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And please follow Michael. Get him on your podcast. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Help us support him and everything that he does. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have an awesome rest of your day.